Hey everyone, welcome to Smash Trivia. I'm your host, Smash Trivia John. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram by searching Smash Trivia to follow everything happening with me. I'll be the one with the big old green head in the profile picture. So excited to get into this. This is the Gamma Analysis. Basically, in this series, I'm going to review everything Hulk, all the movies, TV shows, and I also do random other geeky films. Occasionally, not so geeky ones too. And I also like to mix things up once in a while by not reviewing anything. Hope you enjoy Smash Trivia Presents The Gamma Analysis. I want to ask everyone listening if they can please do something for me. Please share the hell out of this podcast with all your friends. If you don't, Hulk will be angry. And Smash Trivia has a Patreon too, so please check that out. We have some fantastic extra content on there. I bet you'll have a Hulk smashing good time. The tiers are as follows: $1 a month is Hulkaholic for $1, $3 a month is the Reading Room with Hulky and Shulky, and $5 a month is Smashing the TV. I also now offer custom trivia games on Fiverr, so if you want to take your game night to the next level, you can hire me. A link to the Fiverr is in the episode description. The Gamma Analysis is also a part of the Blind Knowledge Podcast Network. Now that we have all that important stuff out of the way, let's smash right into this episode. Hello, my Gamma friends. Today I'm joined by my friend Lindsey, AKA MakkariSwift on Twitter. How you doing, Lindsey?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. We're gonna review today the first two episodes of Hulk and the Agents of Smash. And for our Hulk Holler for $1, we have Derek Sager, Gabriel Floral, Film Critter, and Stephen W. All right, so let's get into this. This Hawk show, this is the Hawk show I actually watched as a kid, and so I am so happy to be able to get to reviewing this show. It's such a fun show. And I felt so good going back and watching it again. And how do you feel, you Lindsey, going back and watching it again?
So I first watched it over quarantine. That's when I first found
Okay.
it. Because I was going through Disney Plus all the time, watching all my old favorite shows
Makes
and
sense.
everything and movies. And I was like, okay, well, I really love Marvel and I haven't really watched any Marvel cartoons. So, I watched Avengers Assemble, which I know not a lot of people enjoy that one, but
Mm-hmm.
I personally loved it. And
Yeah,
then
me
of
too.
course, She-Hulk was the first, comic series I did ever read, so I decided to go with, the Hulk family when I saw Agents of Smash.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't remember the whole season. But
Mm-hmm.
I vividly remember the first two, so it was nice to go back and kind of get a refresher on that. And yeah, I mean, there was just a lot more. I'll probably continue watching the rest of the season, but I really enjoy it. I think it's good, and I think there's this misconception that only kids can enjoy cartoons, and
Mm-hmm.
this is just not true. If it's
Oh
written
yeah,
well
definitely.
and it's executed well, then anyone of any age can enjoy it. And I think that's especially with like shows like Agents of Smash and like Avengers Assemble, like I just it tugs at my heartstrings, and it's a
Oh
cartoon
yeah.
about superheroes. So like that's the things that like draw me in. And like I know like there's just people that like think it's like so like cringe and like camp or whatever. I just enjoy those things
Oh
personally,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
I really like it.
I love when there's like super campy humor and humor in superhero content, and like catchphrases galore, or that like that stuff always is makes me smile. I also I love that in this is like, to be honest, the Hulk that is in this universe, or with the
Mm-hmm.
with Avengers Assemble, this is the kind of Hulk that I want in live action,
Mm-hmm.
because this is a Hulk that he has the mind of Hulk, but he can talk. he
Hmm.
can speak in full sentences, that and versus um Professor Hulk or Smart Hulk or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call him in the MCU, that is the mind of Bruce Banner and
Yeah, it's
not the mind of
completely,
Hulk.
yeah. And I think specifically, in She-Hulk, when it was very vague, references. When Jen, transformed for the first time, she was so easily able to transform between regular Jen and then She-Hulk Jen. And
Mhm.
Bruce was like so confused and insanely jealous because he had, what he calls the other guy, which is
Yeah,
referencing that he has dissociative identity disorder.
yeah.
Kind of like, they're two separate people, living in him. Hulk is a completely separate person inside of Bruce. So I mean, where he is now in the MCU is a little frustrating. um
Oh yeah. I
I would
I
say more than a little, but
truly think that that the Hulk personality is still there. It's just
I
buried
agree.
down deep, Ape, and
Yes.
it's not being allowed to come out, and I think that at some point the anger will boil over, and that Hulk will come out again, and
Yeah, because I remember in the first episode of She-Hulk when they got in the car crash, and you could see, instead of just Bruce's face turn partially green, for a split second it was completely green.
mhm.
So, like you said, there's only so long the Hulk can be suppressed by Banner, which he really hates.
Oh
The Hulk
yeah.
being suppressed by Bruce.
And
There's only
and
so long. Yeah.
I would imagine he's even more pissed here because not only is Banner suppressing him, but Banner stole his body.
Hmm. Yeah, because he's
Uh,
the hybrid. Yeah.
hmm
He's like messing with the gamma and everything, and I'm sure that made him, even more angry. Because in Infinity War, when we start, seeing this kind of inner battle that he
hmm
has, because, well, in Thor Ragnarok, he wakes up after what, like 2-3 years
Yeah.
of only being the Hulk, and Bruce has like no idea what's going on. It's at that point where, then Infinity War kind of starts to happen, and you see, Bruce, like begging the Hulk to come out so that he can fight. And like the Hulk is like angry about it, like he doesn't want to, because like he doesn't like the fact that he's only allowed to come out when it's time to
Yeah.
fight.
He's
So
a tool,
yeah,
basically.
exactly. So, I think that's the issue I have with Hulk in the MCU at this point. But, we did have that, with Scar. I don't want to talk about his looks.
Oh man.
In that final episode, I really did. I mean, like they can't not address it. I mean, especially because Hulk is such a big character in the MCU. He's been in so many films. And he's one of the Avengers that's still alive. Like, I feel like they need to address that he has a child at this point, and a
Yeah.
child that's a Hulk, you know? Um,
hmm
so, I think a lot of us, Hulk and She Hulk fans during the series, especially after that first episode, when we see that tiny, like, split second of Hulk after the crash,
hmm
we feel like Savage Hulk is going to come at some point, but we don't.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the route they're going to go.
I think that there is something to the to what happened right
Mm-hmm.
after the crash, Ash, and that they specifically did not want the audience to see
Mm-hmm.
because they just they cut to after Jen came out of being a She-Hulk, so we don't see what
Mm-hmm.
exactly happened with Hulk
Exactly.
there. I
Yeah.
think that was very intentional. I honestly think that even though I don't particularly like um the Professor Hulk, Smart Hulk, sort of thing a lot in the FCU. I think how they portrayed things in the first episode of She-Hulk is the best that the Hulk has been done in the MCU. The reason I say that is because they talk about how the Hulk is this other person that's not that
Mm-hmm.
is not a just the same aim as Banner, and they also for the first time in the MCU they mention the fact that this is someone who has trauma,
Mm-hmm.
years of trauma that he's suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
they'd never in the MCU have mentioned that before. I'm hopeful that means that at some point we could get them actually talking about the fact that Bruce the Hulk had an abusive father.
Yeah, and like especially like with the Avengers, Bruce, mentions that he was, trigger warning, very suicidal.
Mm.
And the Hulk would always, put an end to that, any attempts that, Bruce ever made. With the reference to the bullet, spitting it out,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And I think with the Avengers, that was his first appearance, right? Besides, the other Hulk movie.
Yeah,
But like in the official MCU,
in
I
the
think.
within the official MCU, the Incredible Hulk is the first time.
Well, I mean, like Mark's Bruce,
Yes,
like per Avengers,
mhm.
like stuff. Um, he's kind of like just there. Like he gets there by just he's just there. That's how it happens.
Mhm.
And then like you know, it's very quick how they like, because like, everyone knows the Hulk. He's comes in contact with gamma radiation. He becomes this big green angry monster, but that's kind of just it. And in the Avengers movie, listen, I love the Avengers movie. It's one of the
Oh
best
yeah,
MCU movies, of course. I mean, it's the
definitely.
Avengers. But the one thing I just didn't like what they did with Bruce in that movie was him kind of being like, okay, I'm gonna get angry. Yay. Like, when like he said, I'm always angry at
Mm-hmm.
Cap when he tells him
Yeah.
to get angry. It just kind of seemed like he was so nonchalant about it, but in reality, like they never really dug deeper into that. So I'm like really hoping that, in the
Mm-hmm.
future they really dive into his
I
trauma.
I'm what I hope for is that they use the fact that he has a son now to
Mm-hmm.
be a like reason that he starts exploring that
Yeah.
because as someone who had an abusive father myself,
Mm-hmm.
one of the most important things to me is breaking the cycle. If I ever
Yeah.
had kids, which honestly I don't really want kids, but if I ever had kids, breaking that cycle, and so I feel like what would make the most sense is that Bruce tries to go to therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and since he has so much trauma from his father, and he has the Hulk there as well. I think that Bruce would not be able to handle going to therapy, and that I could very easily be what brings the Hulk back out.
That's actually a very good, theory, or at least, storyline that you would want to see. And I think like therapy is just like not something that has probably ever crossed his mind, because, typically,
Mm-hmm.
stereotypically men are learned to, suppress their feelings, not talk them
Yeah.
out. It's very
Mm-hmm.
stereotypical. And especially, since he has a son, I mean, like you even like saw in like the first episode of She-Hulk, he was like trying to protect Jen from herself
Mm-hmm.
because he knows what that did to him, and he doesn't want the same thing happening to her. So I feel like when you say break the cycle, I feel like him trying to make sure that also doesn't happen to Scar is gonna drive him
Oh yeah.
some, yeah, yeah, because that's a lot to put on his shoulders.
And but
So.
I also like particularly want the therapy angle as
Mhm.
a way to like kind of like modernize the eyes like this having a deep Hulk story, because I
Mhm.
don't think that's something that they've ever explored in the comics, him trying to do therapy for these
Hmm.
things.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, also, have we seen any other characters in therapy? I don't remember.
Nope.
I don't think so.
The I and I would honestly really want that his therapist is in the MCU be Doc Samson. And do you know who Doc Samson is?
Yeah.
Since Ty Burrell played that character in the Incredible Hulk.
Hmm.
I think have him come back and make him look comic accurate with the green hair
The green hair.
and red outfit. I think that would
Hmm.
be so much fun.
Yeah, I do too. That actually would be pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. And I'm trying to think. There was something else I was gonna say, but I can't remember. I think it slipped my mind. I don't know.
Well, going back to I like talking about the actual show that we're supposed to be reviewing
Mhm,
here. Um, I I really one thing I love about this show is they aren't afraid to like make the like pull cool things out of Hulk comics that honestly like
mhm,
most people wouldn't know about. Like I feel like before this show came out like a lot of these characters that appear in this, a lot of people wouldn't have known a lot about
mhm.
and
I didn't know who Rick Jones was before I watched it
yeah
because
uh,
I hadn't started reading Hulk comics, only She-Hulk at
mhm.
that point. So I wasn't like super, but then I read a little bit about him and I know there's been like one very small reference in the Avengers, but other than that, I don't know
Oh
exactly
yeah.
how they would incorporate him into the MCU if they ever did. Um,
I don't know what they would do like a what role he would play,
mhm,
but I do think they could very easily have him come in and the main reason I think that is because they did so well with the relationship between and Bruce and Jen in that first
mhm,
episode of She-Hulk, where even though Jen has not been in the MCU this whole time, I'm
mhm.
they were able to make it feel like she has and that as
Yeah,
and they are
yeah.
and they know each other really well.
Yeah, and I think with Mark Ruffalo, he just sort of has that chemistry with a lot of actors.
Hmm.
And I think that's why he's been so good with the Hulk, like especially with him and Chris Hemsworth. Hulk and Thor, it feels like they've been that way forever when they
Hmm.
really haven't.
Yeah.
Especially like in Ragnarok. But yeah, that like you said in this show, the the cartoons are more open and brave to taking
Yeah.
storylines from the comics,
Uh,
which I enjoy.
One thing I was thinking about while watching, and I do not remember in the when I binge watched the show originally. I don't think they ever made this like Easter egg a thing in the show, but I think would have been a really great Easter egg since they mentioned this in these episodes how there is a weapons locker of all these weapons that Ross tried to use on Hulk and then failed. And I kind of wish that they would show as an Easter egg to the original Hulk comics the
Mm-hmm.
Missiles that Ross had created.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that's such a ridiculous concept, but it's hilarious.
It's so funny at the same time, right? Like it's like ridiculous that it's funny.
Mhm.
So,
Uh, another thing I love in the show is the fact that there's this town of Vista Verde that they everybody there loves the Hulk and they
mhm.
have Hulk themed stuff everywhere.
Like the
Uh,
giant statues and things like that.
and Stan Lee has his own shop in the
Oh my
town.
god.
Oh my god,
That's
that
that's
was
that's
amazing.
golden.
Yeah, I that it made me so happy hearing Stan Lee's voice in the episode.
I know. Like
Oh
he only
man.
didn't just do cameos in the movies. Like he did as much as he wanted to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm just curious. I'm looking at the cast list because I was just curious because I'm really appreciative of voice actors and I'm not confident on. It says that Drake Bell was Spider-Man.
Drake Bell does play Spider-Man in this show because it's set in the same universe as Ultimate Spider-Man, where
Got
Drake
it.
Bell is the actor who plays Spider-Man
Okay,
in
I
that.
haven't watched that, so that's
Yeah.
probably why I didn't know that. But
Uh,
yeah,
I
it's pretty cool.
Speaking of like voice actors, or this is I have mentioned on my show before, but like I I appreciate a Fred Tatasciore or who voices the Hulk in this
Mhm.
so much because this guy's been voicing the Hulk in animation like almost every year since like 2005.
That's crazy. That's
That's
crazy.
like that is some devotion to this character. I
Yeah,
love
and that's
that.
what I love about voice actors so much. Like they perfect their craft and that's what they do
Hmm.
for a living. And I've been talking about this on my Twitter a lot lately with the release of the Mario movie, how they're, casting, famous actors to voice the characters. And I have my opinions on it because, they don't all sound very great and like it doesn't feel authentic to me.
Hmm.
um that's not to say that like some, I mean, Jack Black, for example, he does have experience. He did Kung Fu Panda and other
Yeah.
things like that, so he does some background. But like it just kind of makes me sad because in animation these guys are like the unsung heroes, and when
Hmm.
they get screwed over for a big name in a movie, it makes me so sad. And I just think there's such commitment and devotion, like you said, and talent that goes into doing that. And one of my
Yeah.
favorite actors, Will Friedle, who played Eric Matthews on Boy Meets World, he also does a lot of voice
Hmm.
acting. Because close to the seventh season of Boy Meets World, he started getting very self-conscious of his body. He was gaining weight because of the anxiety medication he was on. So he kind of wanted to take a break from in front of the camera to more, behind the camera. And that's when he started voice acting. I mean, when he was on Boy Meets World, he also started doing Kim Possible. He played Ron Stoppable. There was an original voice actor for Star Lord in the cartoons, but then he actually took over for Star Lord.
Nice.
And he's also, he was in Batman Beyond as well. Um, and he's done like a lot of stuff. So I mean, like these voice actors are really just so versatile. But there's some
Oh, yeah.
of them that just like they are so committed because they just love what they do, and
Now,
I have like massive respect for them.
now, one character
Mm-hmm.
who is not actually voiced by someone who's traditionally a voice actor in this is that we're reviewing but I honestly really like the choice is that they did this is J.K. Simmons voicing J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, absolutely.
I love how literally everything they just bring back
Everything is him.
J.K. Simmons. And
Yeah.
I also it's so cool to me hearing J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson talking about Hulk. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
not something you get Ed often, and I really want to see that happen
And
in a
more.
live action movie.
Yeah,
Like
and
that would
more.
be
Yeah,
so much
because it's
cool.
always Spider-Man. I mean, like that's his character. Like I get it, but that's always really fun. Like him talking. He references Spider-Man while he's talking about Hulk,
Hmm.
but I think him talking about other characters as well is really just a
Like,
fun time.
yeah, just him saying the word Hulk makes me so happy.
It's I mean I'm not. So you said he didn't have experience in voice acting. That's really
Well,
his all.
well, okay. Yeah, he does some other voice acting roles, but I just say like he's not mainly a voice actor.
Oh, I gotcha.
Or
I gotcha. Yeah.
one other voice acting role that I know particularly he does, which I also really like him in this role, is Omni Man and in Invincible.
Yeah, I actually see that right here. Yeah, I'm just looking at him because
Uh,
I know he's been in so many things. I
mhm.
just can never remember. Yeah, and he's done Gravity Falls too,
Hmm,
which I
okay.
love. And
Yeah.
yeah, he's actually done he's Legend of Korra,
Uh,
Megamind. He's BoJack Horseman, which is a big one. He was there for about 6 years.
mhm.
Yeah, so and Zootopia.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got a
Interesting.
lot under his belt. Kung Fu
Yeah.
Panda 3 is here. Yeah, so he's
Oh,
got a lot, but I think in general as an actor, he just has one of those voices that really stands out. In
mhm.
like his live action acting, even. I think
Yeah.
he could not
Oh
have
yeah.
been a more perfect choice for J. Jonah Jameson. And I can see why he has so many roles in animation as I'm scrolling
Oh
through all of
yeah.
them. So yeah, I mean, I think he would be so great, like in live
Yeah.
action, talking about other characters. I think that would
Mhm.
just like he's done with Spider-Man. So
No, some other characters like I love the acting like personalities that are given with both Seth Green as
Rick Jones,
Rick Jones and the
yeah,
to
I
this.
really
I
like him
was
too.
so much he's so much fun.
He's
And then
so fun.
I don't know what the voice actor's name is, but for Red Hulk, I love Red Hulk in this, and honestly, I
That
wish
like
we would be
that
able to get signed like that in the MCU, but sadly, I don't know if the character that General Ross has been portrayed in the MCU could make that work as Red Hulk, because General Ross in the MCU has never really been that like super toxic masculinity guy like
military
he is
dude,
in this.
yeah. And
Like
like
it,
it's gonna be Harrison Ford. Like
yeah. Like I
like
don't
he'll be
sadly I don't think they could get that like kind of fun personality for Red Hulk in the MCU
yeah.
because of the how they've set the character up currently. But I wish they could, because I have there's it's so much fun seeing this character on
Yeah,
screen.
so it says his Thunderbolt Ross, it says Clancy Brown, that's his name.
Oh yeah, Clancy
Yeah, okay.
Brownson is such an incredible voice actor.
Yeah, and he's done like SpongeBob and like
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
he's great. Yeah. So I completely agree with you. I think his Red Hulk is so funny. Like his raspy, deep, like scratchy
Mhm.
voice just makes it all the better.
Uh,
And I
oh,
think the personality is just of him too. It's just incredible.
I love how in this the person and for the cliffhanger between episodes
Mhm.
is the damsel in distress, as is the toxic masculinity guy. That is so perfect to me.
That was yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness.
One one last thing about like the first of the two episodes, since I think we've talked a lot about like a lot of things from the first episode, but at the end of the first episode, when Rick Jones is after he's been hit by the gamma, and well, actually a couple of things about that. One, when he's hit by the gamma, they show a shot of him that looks like the position his body's in looks almost exactly like how Bruce Banner's was in the original Hulk comic of like where he
Mhm.
turns into the Hulk. I
Yeah.
which I love that reference. And then and this isn't really a reference and more of like just headcanon for me, but the so it's been said that I believe it's been said that Tom Holland's on I Don't Feel So Good in Avengers Infinity War was like not scripted, and I think it would be really funny if like he got the idea from that for that from Rick Jones saying Hulk, I don't feel so good.
That would be
This.
so funny. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really think he did,
Well, yeah,
but but
it's
it
just
would
a
be very
funny thing to
I
think
think the
about.
comparison is really funny. Like Hulk, I don't feel so good, and the comparison with Spider-Man and Infinity War, I think that's pretty funny to think about.
Oh yeah. Oh and so then and like onto the second episode we we meet not exactly meet but we see that now Rick Jones is turned into A-Bomb, a
Hmm.
Blue Hawk, which I don't think that actually was something in the comics, but I love that they did for the show because that is a kind of really cool idea of like this being a this is a Blue Hawk who he also has the ability to be invisible. That
Hmm.
and also I think and turn into a ball. Also for certain points later in the show, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's a lot of fun.
Watching him like discover what he can do is just, again, it goes back to his personality. I think it's just really fun to watch. So,
Oh yeah. So then and finally and the reason I wanted to actually do two episodes was not just one and like actually do this whole story is we finally get She-Hulk which
mhm.
I really like this version of She-Hulk in this.
Mhm.
The one thing I wish that they went more into is like saying that she's not only a like test person in the movies, but also she is a lawyer or like they didn't. I don't think they
They
actually
completely
go
missed the
into
mark
that.
on that. And I don't really, because I remember when I first saw it, when I first like watched it, I was like, okay, so she's like a stand-in,
Yeah,
but like they don't even touch any part of the law or the lawyer
yeah,
stuff.
like
Like I would understand if they did both, but like
yeah.
it was kind of weird. I don't know, but I did like her.
Yeah, I like her personality, and I do think it's a fun idea of her wanting to be a movie star. I think
Yeah,
that's a
I could
great
also
idea
see
for her
that
character.
happening in live action. I
Hmm.
think with Tatiana Maslany, I think it would be really funny. Um,
Oh yeah,
but I think I think it would be pretty funny. But yeah.
definitely. Um, one thing I want to bring up just because just because my friend and Derek talked extensively about this when he came on my on for one of the She-Hulk episodes. But they have so he during one of the She-Hulk episodes he extensively wanted to talk about Hulk and She-Hulk's giant turds and they have a moment in this that's all that is about how Hulks have really large craps. I think that was really funny. And I like how they didn't just follow the stereotype of women. They don't fart or they don't poop. Uh,
Oh my god, that's kind of like well, I don't. That's kind of funny because like, do you think they would like transform back before actually having to go, or like I'm so confused.
Within
I'm
this
so
it
intrigued on
kind of
how that
seems
works.
to it kind of seems to me with that within this universe all the Hawks are stuck in Hulk form so they can't transform
Oh,
back.
that's true.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was really funny that I that they actually did bring that up, and that was something that my friend Derek he was like he insisted on talking extensively about the Hulk and She-Hulk's shits and how they and how those that would work. Uh,
Yeah,
oh,
that's kind of crazy.
it's a I really liked I for this for this two-part thing. The villain being of Annihilus. I don't know much
Hmm.
about Annihilus in the comics, but
Me either.
he seemed like a great way to start this series off with in a way
Hmm.
that it's like where it very much feels like it has this very epic opening.
Hmm. Yeah, especially with that like black hole stuff.
Oh
and all the bug stuff was kind of
mhm.
crazy to me. Like, like what does he make? Is he looks like some kind of like looks like some kind of like tech stuff, but like bug at the same time. And the I guess the bugs he sends out to
Mhm.
attack them and everything. But I thought that was kind of crazy, but I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It felt different.
And so yeah, like feeling different. Like this show, and I don't think any other or like Marvel animated shows tried to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But this show is just like with the 2003 Hulk film, they
Mm-hmm.
played with the with like comic book panely sort of feeling of
Yep.
with like changes in the aspect ratio of the
Mm-hmm.
like, and I love that
I
that
really do
feels so
too.
comic booky to me.
Yeah, I do too, and especially like for me, like since I have ADHD, it's kind of when everything is so repetitive and still in a show or a movie, it's
Uh,
really hard for me to pay attention. So when you say like that comic booky feel when they change the ratios and like it splits from one screen straight to
mhm.
another, that keeps me engaged, and I really like that style of
Uh,
animation.
like you have like one scene where they literally shape the aspect ratio to be the size of this glass tube that Hulk put Rick Jones
Mm-hmm.
in. Like that's
That
so
was
perfect.
it's brilliant. I love that. I do.
Uh, um, and then and another character we haven't really mentioned, but is Scar, and I enjoy Scar in this, but we don't really get a lot of like his personality from these first two episodes
Mm-hmm.
because he's mind controlled.
Yeah.
And but then and by the end of the episode, so we see why he's really doing all of this. As it's because
Mm-hmm.
as the leader holds the
Mm-hmm.
secrets to his origins,
Yeah.
which obviously him being the son of Hulk.
Yeah.
I don't remember though if we actually if in the show they actually ever do reveal the fact that he's the son of Hulk,
I don't remember. I don't
which is
remember.
which I hope they do because that's because it really would like change the dynamic a lot on Hulk finding out that this guy who's he's been hanging out all this time is his son.
Mm-hmm.
um and then the leader there, I love in this show how they portray the leader there, especially like with his voice. It
Mm-hmm.
feels so perfect to me that that has become like the voice I hear for the leader in
Yeah, me
the
too. Like it
comics
feels.
Onyx, and like also like the voice of Hulk in this is the voice I would hear as if I was reading a Hulk comic too.
Yeah, and
They
like
do
for the
so well
leader,
with
like
that.
the voice for the leader, like it feels sinister, but not in the
Yeah.
way that you would expect. You know.
Oh yeah, and that's one thing where I feel like I'm gonna have trouble with when Tim Blake like Nelson and actually gets to be the leader in Captain America New World Order, because I don't think any Tim Blake Nelson will have a voice like that, and
Mm-hmm.
that's become like my the voice I expect from the leader now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that just I feel like that just really says a lot for how much source material reading they do.
Oh yeah, it's so but yeah, I'm uh one thing that I would say a little bit as a criticism of this series is that is and I know that they couldn't really do this because it was a kids show,
Mm-hmm.
but I wish they would go this would they could have been more mature so they could go into some of like the deeper stuff of Hawk and like his trauma and stuff and
Mm-hmm.
talk about
Yeah.
that and I think that would make the show be feel even more even better than it is I then this universe though actually does have something in it that does go into a little bit of a more deeper thing with Hawk, just not in this show. Have you ever seen the movie a Hulk where monsters dwell?
I don't think so.
That is a direct video film that is set in this universe, or it's an animated
Okay.
film. And in that they actually have like a dream sequence, and where it is Banner fighting Hulk.
Whoa.
They have to fight each other, and you have like Banner as well, like running from Hulk, and they have to like deal with their differences, and that is something I've wanted to see in live action, and for a
Mm-hmm.
while, because I think such a cool concept to for dealing with with Hulk's mental health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, like you said, it is a kids show, but at the same time, I feel like the sooner kids know about it, the better.
Oh yeah.
Because like, they're teenagers in high school are telling their parents and teachers they have anxiety or depression, and they're just
Mhm.
not taken seriously. They're like, what
Yeah.
do you have to be anxious about? What do you have to be depressed about?
Mhm.
Like the way they say those things, it just doesn't make sense. Like there's no logic in that, because literally all the pressure that's on them at such a young age causes those things to happen. Especially, during COVID, we've seen the surge of mental health rising, especially in kids and men.
Mhm.
So I mean it's just, I
Oh
I
yeah.
think things like that, like, you don't want to traumatize the kids too much, because obviously then they'll be
Oh yeah.
scared, but like
Yeah.
you gotta address it in some
I think,
sort of way.
yeah,
That's
and
just my
like, and
opinion.
also like particularly like, I think it would be good to have having kids shows like them actually address the fact that Hulk had an abusive father, because to have something like that talk about it, I
Mm-hmm.
have this superhero talking about something like that might help a kid, who is dealing with an abusive parent, to be able to speak up
Mm-hmm.
and let and try and get out of that situation.
Exactly. And of course, there's only so much a kid can do in that situation.
Mhm.
But I mean, like, when you have a superhero like the Hulk,
Yeah.
who's supposed to be like a good guy and like beats all the bad guys up, who
Mhm.
struggles, it also shows kids that,
Yeah.
like, not even the Hulk can be perfect. And clearly we know that, because he's
Mhm.
seen by almost everyone as a big monster when he's really not. So I think that's a very important conversation. I think they need to take bigger leaps with.
Oh yeah. Yeah, one now that reminded me of one moment I really love in this, where like the military comes after Hulk, and Hulk, instead of trying to smash them, he's like, "I'm gonna give this child to you, protect this child." And
Mm-hmm.
that really shows sign that I think a lot of Hulk things in live action have had trouble with of showing Hulk not just smashing stuff, but saving people.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that and because he is a hero, he doesn't just fight the bad guys, he saves the good people.
Yeah, so like, yeah, like especially like in the Avengers films, you see all he does is like smash and like
Mhm.
destroy things and enemies so that people can't get hurt, but he's not on the opposite end where, like Captain America and Black Widow are like rushing all these people to safety. Like you don't see him on that end, but that is a big part of who he is protecting
Yeah.
others.
Yeah.
And smashing isn't the only way he does that, but that's
Mhm.
kind of what the MCU has only really shown so far.
Yeah. Trying to think. What else about these two episodes we need to talk about they haven't so far? Is there anything you can think of that we need to talk about?
I think one thing I did want to bring up was towards
Mm.
the end, when, Hulk was, deciding to, sacrifice himself at the end so that, the rest of them could, close the hole or whatever it
Yeah.
was. And the fact that they were like, no, F that, we're coming with you, because, that's kind of, especially, with Rick and with Jen, they're kind of like, yeah, you're not getting rid of us. Like,
Mhm.
were a team. And then even Hulk was like annoyed with Rick because he wouldn't stop trying to fight when he's
Oh,
just this like little guy and everything. But yeah, I really really did like that because I mean I really like the whole aspect of like him trying to be the savior and everything, but then being like, hell no, not because they don't, not because they think he's selfish, but because they don't think
well, Red Hawk
if
thinks
he
he's selfish.
well, I think they because even if they were to die, they didn't want to
Hmm.
die alone. They want to die
Yeah,
together. So I
yeah.
think that also kind of reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy. They want to die together. They don't want to go alone. So it's things like that that really pull at my heartstrings. So
Oh yeah. Um. I think that I think should be mentioned that you talking about that remind me of is I really enjoy the dynamics between characters in this.
mm-hmm,
Like whether it be like with Hawk and Rick, where Hawk feels like he needs to protect Rick, or
mm-hmm,
Hawk and Red Hawk, where they're always butting heads
mm-hmm.
as like they like literally after a
That's just
fight.
hilarious.
I oh we oh you're back punch and they're like yeah yes that's fun punching each other.
Mm-hmm. They don't exactly love each other, but they're like
Hmm.
they don't want to see the other one die exactly.
Yeah,
So I think that dynamic's really fun. So
definitely. Let's see what else is there in these episodes. Let's talk about hmm. I thought it's fun them having at the very end of the two episodes this like family dinner together,
oh
and
yeah.
we find out that Jen is really good at cooking,
Mm-hmm.
which is which I kind of would love if they made that be a part of her MCU role
I
as well.
I would love
It'd be
that so
so
much
much
because
fun.
I love cooking and I feel like the fun and the chaos that she would have in the kitchen would just be amazing. I really
Oh
think that
yeah,
would be great. Yeah.
definitely. All right. Well, I don't know if there's any much else for us that we need to talk about with this. So before I end this off, I do want to offer to you. This is something I tried to offer to basically all my guests. As I will offer that you can make me say something an announcer voice. Just as type it into the chat on Zoom,
Jesus.
and I will and then I will say it.
Can I get example of this voice because this is a lot
Um,
to think about.
welcome to the gamma analysis.
Okay, I'm trying to think. Why does this feel like so much pressure? I don't know. I'm lame.
Uh,
Uh,
Normally, people just like try like think of something funny that appeared in in what we were reviewing at the time. So if there's like maybe some phrase from the show that you want me to say.
trying to think. Oh my goodness. I'm just so drawing a blank right now. Trying to think.
One thing I really enjoyed that I thought was really funny was that when Hulk walked away from Rick on the ground and Red Hawk over him is and Red Hawk's like, I'm not Super Nanny.
Oh my god, that one's funny.
That
Yeah.
was great. And, oh man, which that
Um.
reminded me of when Coulson was saying that he was going to Elson said in Iron Man 2 that he was going to watch Super Nanny while Stark is has to stay in his Malibu house.
Mm, yeah. I guess I literally cannot think of anything.
If you don't want to, don't can't think of
I
anything,
feel like
or
we'll
you
be
don't
here
want
all
to,
night.
you don't have to. Um,
You can pick
I did
something.
like I did really like in the episode as well that they had the reference from classic Hulk of "You won't like me when I'm angry" in
Hmm.
one of those interviews. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I
Um
like. You know what I really like is the whole. Rick is like recording everything.
oh
They're
yeah,
they're being
that's a
recorded.
lot of fun. Like I love this idea of there being a web series he's doing to
Hmm.
try and show the world that the Hawks aren't
Monsters.
monsters.
Yeah.
That's so much fun. And I love when Red Hawk's like, er, oh yeah, yeah, uh, weapons that fail to fight the Hawk. Rachel should be making a show about me and not Greenie.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
And then there's like when Hawk puts him in the like glass jar, and you just
Hmm.
have Red Hawk there. He's just having a laughing fit. He's like, "You should keep your mouth shut on Jones."
My
Oh
gosh.
man, it's so good. They did such a fantastic job with the
They
humor
really did.
in this. It's so much fun. And this is part of why I kind of like the idea of a MCU Hulk film being comedic. Because
Hmm.
I love it so much in this. And the thing is, sadly, I don't think we could ever get that because too many
Hard to
people
execute
complain about
execute
it.
in live action. Yeah.
I think too many people would complain about it because right now so many people are complaining that the MCU is too funny, which
Hmm.
which I will honestly never see because I rather these films be filled with humor than them being serious.
Yeah, like if you really want to see dark and depressed, watch Batman. Like,
Uh,
do you mind if I go to the bathroom real quick?
of course.
Okay, I'll be right back.
While Lindsay's gone, I'm just gonna read off some of these bits of trivia off of IMDb. So the first of these two episodes is dedicated to the memory of someone named Armin and Mirzan. I probably really butchered that last name. It says as well. When informed that he had invaded the kingdom of Victor Von Doom, Red Hawk responds on, "Ooh, is that Latveria, Doc? I knew I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque." With an old Bugs Bunny running gag line. Stanley a voice cameo in this as the a used car salesman, smiling Stan. His face actually can be briefly seen on a billboard as well, and he uses the catchphrase "Excelsior" and refers to as to his nickname Stan the Man, and then and in the second of the two episodes that we watched the only bit of trivia that we really have is that apparently when Annihilus extends his cosmic control rod, it makes the sound of a lightsaber igniting. I didn't notice that in the episode, but that's actually kind of cool. Those are the bits of trivia from this episode. Yes, I there's like there's a lot of we're on recording like more like just funny bits and stuff from the episode that we're gonna remember. We would probably be here all day thinking of things, and we just kept thinking of little bits from the episode. It's so much such a funny set of episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. So,
Oh,
is I don't think there's anything else really left to talk about. I'm gonna look on IMDb for like some quotes that are to see if there's a that
there
I
might
want to
be some,
mention.
yeah.
I mentioned but Hulk say, "Trouble in town. Looks like I'm needed. Time to smash." Like, uh, Rick Jones say, "See, the old Hulk would have opened up a can of smash on those
Oh, that
guys."
that one.
And then there's also like where Red Hulk's like, I he was about to say ass before Hulk cut him off by punching him away. He'd say, I think he said was about to say kick ass or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was great. I loved of where it said Scar Slash, no Hulk Smash.
That was funny. Yeah, I really enjoyed their dynamic a lot.
Oh man, yeah. And let's see. And then in the second episode that we talked about, where a Hulk, this is what it's not as much like a funny line, but actually does bring out like really shows you like the emotion to Hulk's character.
Mm-hmm.
After Rick gets turned in A-bomb, he says, Hulk in interviews, thing says, "My best friend, what have I done?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's such a great moment.
Yeah,
Oh,
because like it's I mean like it just shows like he went through so much from being a Hulk, and even like before all that, like he just doesn't want his loved ones going through that same thing. And like with Jen already
mhm.
is a Hulk, so I mean.
Another thing I really enjoy is like where they did the title sequence again at the end, and with Rick Jones owns like using his body to kind of create it, and I think that was
Mm-hmm.
hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I also just really like the look of the title sequence with and that logo of how like the top words are like 3D words, and then the bottom ones are 2D words, and I think it was a really cool choice always for that.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I don't really like too much is how the TV director is like, "Oh, I can erase you no problem. And pop in our real star." Like,
Oh my goodness.
great. And then there's like Rick kind of showing a little bit of toxic masculinity with the muscle will be here when you wake up.
It's just a fun time. It's a fun time.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, I don't think there's really anything else to talk about, so I think I'm gonna end this off. So, is there any last things you want to say before I end this off? It doesn't have to be about the episode, just anything you really want to say.
No, I just think I always have fun, doing these things.
Yeah.
I personally love listening to podcasts, so I remember you gave me the opportunity to be on it when we did She-Hulk, and that was a lot of
Mm.
fun, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just glad we got to do it
Like
again.
I,
So I just had
it
a lot of
was
fun. I always like talking about this stuff because the people in, my close vicinity don't give a shit about any of it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun last time where like we combined both talking a little bit about She-Hulk, and then also we did a
The Hunger Games
yes,
simulator.
Hunger Games
That was
simulator
very
thing.
fun.
That was great. And
I
then like
always
giving
have,
these costumes to these
because
characters.
it was Halloween, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was so funny.
Oh
The
man.
one thing that's in my mind right now, I remember about like sexy Kermit the Frog or something. Who was that? I
Yeah.
don't remember, but that was pretty
Howard the
funny.
Duck in a sexy Kermit the Frog
Oh
costume.
my gosh, that was
Like,
crazy.
it was what I thought of like in my head of what that would be Kermit the Frog in like BDSM leather.
Oh my god.
Oh man. Well, thank you, Lindsay, for coming on. I enjoy having you on so much. You're a great person to talk to. So, Thank you everyone for listening. And if you like this gamma analysis, please give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and a 5-star rating on Spotify. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these episodes and just the Hawk and the Agents of Smash TV series in general. So please let me know. If you'd like to listen to more from me, please subscribe. Many more gamma analysis from me coming, so keep on the lookout. This again is your host, Smash Trivia John, signing off.